I'm Christian Abbott.
I'm Nathan Lavender.
I'm Sean Abbott, and this is the Red Mist Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Red Mist Podcast. Season 3, Episode 48. The 1970 All-American Racers, Plymouth Barracuda. Number 48, driven by the great, late Dan Gurney. Sponsored by Hot Wheels.
See, now, I do like that one, because that is All-American right there.
That's right, Nate. Even in the name, All-American Racers.
Yeah, see what I did there?
Yeah, I got you. I know you're disappointed, though.
No, I'm not disappointed. I was like thinking maybe it's Jimmy
Johnson.
Johnson.
It was going to be the Jimmy Johnson tribute.
Yeah, I mean, 7-time. You know, there's only two other drivers that have done that. So, anyway.
Yeah. Well,
very nice.
One with
nice.
number 48 All-American Racers. So, maybe next year. Okay. Anyways, moving on, we will talk the season finale of Formula One in Abu Dhabi, and a Constructors champion was crowned. Given that the Drivers' Championship was crowned prior. We'll discuss opening day of the testing season, Formula One. And we'll talk some news and notes. And then we'll talk about the return to the track of Red Mist Racing this past weekend.
Whoop, whoop.
So, shall we dive into the race, gentlemen?
Let's.
Let's. Where do you want to start?
Skip FP1 because that was kind of 50-50 with some new drivers having to fill the FP1 rookie requirement.
There was quite a few. Yeah.
So I mean, good for them that they got to sit in. I guess the most notable one of that was Charles Leclerc's brother, Arthur Leclerc, being in Sainz's seat for that. So they had their nice
which was nice
photo op.
Yeah, I just was kind of sick and tired of the broadcasters. Like, oh my God, it's the first time two brothers race for the same team on the same track.
Yeah,
I was like, in Formula One that's happened. In other racing series.
It's the last, within the same team.
I don't. It doesn't matter. They're driving cars. They're competing against each other.
No, I know. I mean, it is the end of the season. I'm sure.
And that was practice.
Yeah,
that was practice, as Allen Iverson would say. Practice. It wasn't like the Indy 500 with Al Unser taking on his brother Bobby.
Right.
Or Darrell Waltrip taking on his brother Michael.
Or Kyle Busch and Kurt Busch taking each other out at Charlotte.
Good point.
They didn't talk for at least a year.
Right. There's many brothers that have raced. There's many father and sons that have raced.
Right.
Mario and Michael. Mario and Jeff.
Terry and Bobby Labonte.
Terry and Bobby Labonte. There you go.
Yeah.
Very good.
The Wallace brothers.
Oh, all three of them.
All three of them.
All right. So FP2.
Sorry.
That's okay. FP2. Anything there? Anyone wants to talk about? Anyone?
Not Not really. I think
Not
the rest of
really.
practice was kind of just normal, going about
Yeah.
everyone's deal.
Yeah, everyone kind of stayed out. There was no shunting of cars, which was kind of exciting.
Oh, well,
But
actually, I guess in FP1, which gets towards a grid penalty that Charles Leclerc was getting work done on his car, and they ended up swapping a electronic or controls
the
unit
battery
around. Yeah, battery.
or something, yeah, and that necessitated a penalty.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we can then skip into qualifying.
Qualifying, okay.
Which that was pretty interesting. Because I mean,
Well,
in
Bottas
Q1,
made it interesting. No, Bottas.
he did, and I know it doesn't mean anything, but like when he was in qualifying, with like less than 50 seconds to go, he went up to the top of the sheets, top of the pylon for a brief moment, which was kind of funny to see.
That's true.
But yeah, he made it through.
I thought the Haas's put on a pretty good show.
Oh yeah,
right? Because Nico Hulkenberg didn't get he got fourth, just ahead of Max at Q3, anyways. At the end,
right? Yep.
When qualifying was done.
Yeah.
But Lewis Hamilton got out of qualifying right at Q3. I'm sorry, Q1.
I know. It was well,
K-Mag's fault.
well,
Ish.
yeah.
Ish.
I think it was more wrong place, wrong time, right time. Because had Lewis been not right where he was and K-Mag hit that cone, he never would have hit. He never would get stuck under the car.
Yeah, it was just terrible timing.
Anything stand out to you, Christian?
of qualifying.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it.
Why is that?
We were kind of in the middle of a race.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we kind of had a race of our own, and then I was working some strategy, or trying to.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it was a McLaren lockout.
Yes.
And Fat Zach was all proud.
I'm sure. Because it's been a while since McLaren has won a Constructors Championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, you're setting yourself up pretty well for come Sunday.
It's been 26 years.
I was just. Yep. Yep. Christian was 1 year old.
Or what was it? 98, 99?
It was 98.
98. Okay.
Yeah.
See, Sean, I know some things.
Yep. All right. Let's move to the race. I'm assuming we watched it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, what'd you think of the start?
Great start by Lando.
What about Piastri?
Oscar, not such a great start.
Would you call it his fault or just a racing incident?
I'm going to call it a racing incident only because I think he recognized he had a poor start, but then he really kind of opened that door into turn one by not going to the inside line. He went to the middle of the road and left the inside open. So Verstappen tried to seize the opportunity there.
Yeah, which I mean,
That's just my opinion on that.
because here's my thing. I saw it as okay. Verstappen had a better start, fine, but I think what happened was it was just. I mean, Max is already next to Oscar, but Oscar left him zero room.
Well, I can't say that he left them zero room.
Well, what do you mean? Because
I think it was poor judgment by Max.
I think
Max.
And it
I
was
think
a little
Max
too
could have
late for
stuck.
him to back
I
out.
think Max could have stuck his nose in there, but I don't think he could have. I think he should have just kind of, once he got there, I think he could have just backed off a bit.
I mean,
You know.
I hear you, but Oscar only left him the rumble strip, and at that point, if I'm Max, I would have tried to bow it out. I mean, I've never driven an F1 car, but I'm just taking a gander at it because he was never ahead at the apex. There's no lane to get in, and the door, if anything, is barely open, which fine,
right?
But I mean, your only lane going into turn one is the rumble strip. That I don't know. I don't think it was good. It was never going to work. But I mean, these are split-second decisions.
I didn't think it was going to work, but he could have kept his nose in there and not made contact, right? Can we not agree to that?
There was always going to be contact.
It was.
Whether a spit, yeah. Because I mean, taking another, quick look at it.
Oh, Nate's going to the replay.
Because you look at it and it's open as soon as you get to the straight, but I think Max did surprise Oscar and maybe just flat out didn't see him because he did go for a quick lunge.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work, but I mean, it's a mix of a few things. Max got really lucky on getting going again. It was still within the pack.
Well, yeah.
And then, funny enough, Sergio Perez spun later on.
On the same lap. We'll get to that.
They say spin or win, right?
I don't know. With him?
Yeah. Right, Sean?
Nate, I don't know what to say.
He's gone, right? His seat is dead.
We can talk about it.
It'd be the funniest thing if Valtteri Bottas. I know this is a very, very slim chance of this happening. If Bottas takes Perez's seat at Red Bull, Bottas is the one that spun him out.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening either.
I don't think it's happening, but.
Well, it wasn't even. Bottas taking Perez out, that it just seemed like everyone was. There was too many people going into too small of a space. Like someone wasn't getting out of there. So I mean, it was. I don't think anything was intentional there.
No, I mean it's a slow corner. It's kind of
right.
Kind of tough there. 3 wide, 4 wide, whatever, on the start.
And I mean, But if you just leave a lane wide open on the outside, I mean, Leclerc easily just sweeps around everyone.
Yeah.
On that one,
Which
was
he did. It was
yeah.
it was a tremendous run.
Yeah, I think he got 3 positions in that in that corner.
I think, yeah, I mean, essentially 4 laps later, he had made up 11 positions, which I thought was a little risky by Ferrari to start him. Like, not make some changes and start him from the pit lane, but in the end, it worked out.
Right.
Because had they started in the pit lane, they could have done anything. They could have changed the entire car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a question of, did he feel the need to make any changes to the car? Because I mean, he was flying. So I mean, I don't know what they really could have done to change that if he had started, say it was a McLaren 1-2 and then Ferrari 3-4.
Right. I mean, at that point, I think Lando had kind of checked out on the race, and Carlos had kind of stuck in the second, and I honestly, they really weren't challenged, those two.
No.
Leclerc coming through to finish third is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm not so sure. What did you think of the last lap pass Hamilton on Russell?
What, you thought it was staged?
Yeah.
Well, regardless.
Sean, this is why we're best friends.
Russell starts.
Oh, it just
Yeah, but look at it this way: Russell started what, 4th?
I know. You're right.
Yep. And Lewis started.
Next to dead last. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And they end up in the same spot on the last lap.
Right. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like everyone was like, "Oh my God, he made a great move around him," and I'm going, somebody told him to move over.
I mean, whether he did or didn't, that trend.
I'm not. Good. I mean, if George did, I don't know. It's still not currying any favor with me because I can't stand them. But, it just like the announcers never went back to say, "Oh, that could have happened."
Yeah, I mean this is not the first race where Lewis started further back than George, and
and finished ahead of him. Yeah.
Either A finishes ahead of him or B is right on his tail. So I mean, that is one thing that George has definitely been criticized of over the course of this year. So.
But between the two of them, it was the difference in drivers' championship position. Because they did go into this round tied. Right?
Oh, yeah. That's...
No, I'm thinking of total points.
No. Yes.
Yeah, total points on the team.
Since Russell stepped up to Mercedes, they were tied.
On 685 points or something, or something stupid
So then, but as far as this season goes, George has been ahead of Lewis.
Gotcha. Right. Other than that, I was kind of like, all right.
That was the only real action on the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, overall, yeah. I mean, I really didn't. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't have I just didn't have a. Well, I guess I didn't have that much of a vested interest in the Constructors Championship.
Oh, Constructors, yeah.
No one. I mean, no one does, except for the teams themselves.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a huge payday.
It is, but everyone that watches the sport, the only championship that really matters when it comes down to it, when you're going to remember who won the title, is the drivers.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of F1 fans that could do the Sebastian Vettel of, instead of running down all the drivers in chronological order, they would do it with all of the teams. I'm sure there's someone out there that can do that. However, when you do history and you think of champions and what car is the best, you're going to remember it's the Drivers' Championship.
Right.
Because everyone remembers Max won with Red Bull, Lewis won with Mercedes, Lewis won with McLaren, Seb won with Red Bull, Michael won with Ferrari.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're remembering.
Yeah.
Jensen Button with Braun.
Right?
No, it's true. There's also, I don't know if you guys I saw this today, the Verstappen curse.
Yes, I saw this one.
Nate, do you know what this is?
No.
So, of the four championships, Christian, that Max has won?
Well, the three prior.
Oh, the three prior, right. Yeah. The three prior. The driver who has finished in second place in the World Drivers' Championship the following year has finished no higher than fifth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't think this will happen next year, but
trend.
Then again,
you have to look at it a little bit differently here.
Then again, McLaren has won the constructor title, which means that they now have won the least amount of development time.
Right. Least amount of development time is right. Yeah.
At least in terms of the wind tunnel. That is.
The wind tunnel. So if you look at it and you think about that, you're right, Christian.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Ferrari dropped. Well, let's say Ferrari bounced Leclerc, kept Sainz and Hamilton. I would have said they're the stronger team.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that Charles just, I don't know. Sometimes just, I don't know.
His mental game comes more into question.
Right.
From race to race, depending on whether he feels good with the car or not.
Yeah.
I mean, there definitely are weekends where it's clear that Ferrari missed on setup.
Right.
Or their car just isn't suited for a track. Like it's definitely clear when that is not the case.
Yeah.
But when you do have cars that are pretty equal and it comes down to who got a better job done in qualifying, like it shows.
Yep. Oh, you're right.
I mean,
so we'll have to. So you have them. I don't know if necessarily Mercedes is a stronger team.
No, the question is how quickly can Antonelli get up to speed?
Right.
I mean, if they're okay battling Red Bull for third in the constructors, then that's probably where it's going to be.
Right.
Because it'll pretty much be Verstappen versus Russell for that.
But is it, or is it, yeah, so, I don't know, or does Red Bull become a stronger team if we assume that Perez is out of there? If Perez comes back, they're not any better.
No, they're not. At that point, you can almost write him off for the construction.
You're right. Right. Yeah, because again, it's one guy that's got the mental fortitude to keep that team up there, and the other guy just doesn't have it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, of the candidates that have been spoken of for that seat, I mean, I don't really know either. They'll definitely, or I should say definitely, they should be scoring points on a more consistent basis. Now, whether they're challenging at the front, that's a different question.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a fair point.
So, I mean, I would expect Lawson, Sonoda, or if Bottas gets thrown into this mix, I would expect them to be finishing 6th, maybe 5th. You know, I wouldn't put them too much higher up. I mean, honestly, I'd even say like maybe 7th, just because I would put Antonelli at 8th, because he clearly has the car to be ahead of the midfield. So I mean, that's at least his floor of where he needs to be. So, and
I think it'll be interesting to see. There's a couple of rookies that are going to be joining next year, and one is Sauber, and then in Haas. I think it'll be interesting to see how these rookies do next year.
I mean, I think of the ones that are coming up, I think Behrman and well, you can't really call Lawson a rookie, but I mean,
rookie, not rookie, almost.
Of those, I feel they're the safer hands. I mean, Bortolato, is that car going to be any better next year? No,
not. Yeah. I mean, F2 champion,
F2 and F3 champion.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, with Audi, you're just waiting for 26 at this point.
Right.
So I mean that's the telltale sign. You're just you're gonna get into a groove. Make sure you.
Well, and honestly, all of these teams are.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, Aston. I mean, people can sit there and go, "Oh, they're going to be great next year." They're not. I mean, the car's built. It was built before Adrian got there. I mean, he's not going to be able really to do much to it. And I don't think it's outside of Fred, they don't have another driver that can help develop the car.
Mm-hmm.
The Strolls now.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have to make it clear to everyone, even Lance Stroll fans.
Yeah. So.
If there are any out there. Imagine being friends with a Lance Stroll fan. That is wild.
Imagine being friends with Lance Stroll.
Good point.
Jeez.
Good point. No, Sean, I like this. Imagine being friends with Austin Dillon.
I bet you Lance Stroll's friends with him.
Imagine those two meet.
Yeah, that'd be really good right there. All right. So at the end of the day, Lando wins, Carlos second, Charles third. The McLaren maintains their point gap. They win the Drivers' Championship. Ferrari's second, Red Bull third, Merc was fourth. So, nothing really changed. I mean, the only thing that could have happened was, had Lando and Oscar not finished I mean, if Lando didn't win and he was down where Oscar was, then we would have had a flip in the championship.
Right.
So.
I mean, because Oscar didn't score any points. I believe he finished like 11th or 12th.
Yeah. No, he didn't. Yeah.
So he didn't contribute anything.
And then was Leclerc the driver of the day, or who did they give it to?
Yes, Leclerc was driver of the day. I think he was driver of the day.
Driver of the day. Okay. I guess Lewis would have been second, right?
Yes.
And I guess if I was going to say third, it would have been Gasly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he held off Haas.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that's
Yep. So.
And
go ahead.
What a turnaround for Alpine too with these last 4 races.
Well, the one that really put him over the edge was Brazil.
Yes.
That's it. That's
But,
it. And it was enough to get them 6th.
Yep.
In the championship.
Yep.
And another thing too, Pierre Gasly, $0 spent on the Constructors Championship. First driver ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unofficially, and I saw this point too. Unofficially by some fan that has orchestrated this championship.
That's nothing wrong with it. But if he, let's put it this way: if that's the case, well done to him.
Yes. No. Very very good job by him.
You know. So, no complaints there.
Yeah.
Right.
But we even putting Brazil to the side. I mean, Alpine did a great job in the last 3 races as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of started to raise some questions for me of like, do they really need to move away from not making their own engine, because those last couple of races were.
What are they going to run next year? A Mercedes?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That I don't get, but hey, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it really just, like the curtain fell on the season, and then, the end of the day, the only thing we're waiting right now is whether or not the guillotine's going to fall on Perez's neck.
Yeah.
Is that a little harsh, Nate?
No, it was invented by the French. That's why I laughed.
Well, when your life's hanging in the balance because of some senile 81-year-old Austrian gentleman.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he Austrian? Is Helmut? Is he Austrian or German?
I think he's Austrian.
Oh God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Austrian.
Austrian. Jeez.
Oh, one thing that I do want to bring up from the last race.
Yep.
Piastri's penalty.
Oh
boy.
Wait a minute.
What?
Which race are you talking about?
Abu Dhabi.
What was the penalty?
He locked up going into the chicane on the end of the back straight.
Hitting
and
Alpino, or
hit or tapped, more so tapped in my eyes, Colapinto, when he was trying to get past him after he got spun from Max. I thought that was ridiculous, that the rules... the penalty that I got imposed was 10 seconds to Piastri. And 10 seconds was also the penalty that was given to Verstappen. So you're telling me that the contact in turn 1, putting
his contact,
is the same, is the contact in turn 1 between Verstappen and Piastri is the same as Piastri and Colapinto.
Okay.
This is the thing I can't stand about this stuff, because everyone's been complaining about the stewards. Oh, they're so inconsistent. They don't know what they're doing. All right, so they come in and put the hammer down, and they're like super strict. Okay, if you're gonna be strict, be strict.
Well,
but here's the problem now. You now look ridiculous because you're saying that no one can touch anyone for anything.
Well, but here's the thing.
And you're saying that these two incidents are now the same when they're clearly not.
Yeah.
And then Bottas didn't get a penalty for his turning of Perez.
Well, did anyone get Who nailed Magnussen?
Bottas. That's separate. Like, I think it's fine. It's again ridiculous because Bottas ended his race with that. So why need a penalty? He already ruined his race.
Right.
That's what I don't. That's another thing I don't understand either, because you're not going to tell this driver that he has to serve time when he's clearly ruined his race in the race that this incident has happened. It shouldn't have to carry to the next one. He didn't do it like on the last lap, And even on the last lap, you could then just say, no, we're just going to book you however much time to put you behind the guy. So
it's I got who was in qualifying, George went slow as hell in the racing line, and someone had to take evasive action around him that was on a hot lap, and he didn't get anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a week ago he was in there screaming for bloody murder on Max.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I can say
the season's
over.
Yeah,
the season's over and we move on. That's all we can do. And just see how it starts up next season. I guess that's the best way to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe everyone needs to read the rule book over the off season to.
No, that's a fair point. Fair point. Yeah.
Make sure everyone understands what is right and what's wrong.
All right. So we just move. We turn the page and move to today. Was the I guess the beginning of the off-season testing, right? I guess I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They had a bunch of rookie drivers climbing in. Some of the regular drivers driving. So, but unfortunately, no one caused any issues, so that was good. No cars got crashed. Charles was fastest, and Carlos was second fastest in the Williams. So, seems like there's more pace in the Williams than what the two drivers are getting out of it.
Was it posted what tires everyone was on?
Leclerc and Carlos were on the same tire because they were the designated veteran testers, so they went on the tire program. Whereas the other drivers were on the rookies were on an open test.
Yeah. Okay.
I shouldn't say rookies, but the guest drivers. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens now.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Just go to preseason testing.
Yeah. Is that in Barcelona? Is that where that is?
Bahrain? No.
Is it Bahrain? I think you're right, Christian. I think it is Bahrain.
No, but Bahrain, I don't think Bahrain's the opening round next season, is it?
No, it is. No, you know what? The testing is in Bahrain, and then they go. Then they're out of the Middle East because of the holy days are later in the calendar this year in the Arab countries or the Muslim countries, whatever you want to date them as.
Yeah, because Australia is back.
Islamic countries, I guess. I don't know.
Australia is back as the
opening race.
Opening round,
yes,
which is great.
Yeah,
I think.
I like it.
That should be the opening round.
I do. Yeah, I agree.
I like Australia as the opening round.
And actually, okay, the calendar actually makes sense.
Yeah, right. Well, it's so funny you say that because they go around Asia for like the first
5 rounds.
Like 5 rounds, yeah.
Yeah. Then they do Miami, which is just out of place, but I get it.
Yeah, then they go to Canada.
I don't get it. No. The order is from round 6. It's Miami, Imola, Monaco, Barcelona, Canada.
Oh, is it 2026 they redo the calendar?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes,
So
that's when Monaco doesn't.
they get rid of the conflict with Monaco and Indy.
Yes.
They get rid of the conflict with Le Mans and all that. Yeah, got it. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
So next season's kind of just, I don't know. Next season, we'll have to see. It's like the lame duck year.
Right. We're just waiting on 2026.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I want to see how Lewis breaks out in the Ferrari.
Yeah.
But,
you could have similar signs of what 2021 was, what 2013 was, where everyone's looking like they're having pretty competitive cars because now everyone's caught up in the rules, and now we're going to reset them.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the tough thing about the regulation change, these big regulation changes, because more likely than not, what's going to happen is someone's going to find a better solution than everyone else, and is going to be running away for the first few races. So, and then
right,
and then it'll take either half a year or another year before anyone else can figure it out and catch up. Outside of reliability issues, that is.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's move on to some news. Corvette Racing announced their driver lineup for this year, unchanged. We got Antonio and Nicky Katzberg, and Tommy Milner, and I think it's Nico Verone. Yes. Any other news from you guys?
Not that I can think of.
Dylan DeFrancesco signed with RLL for the 25.
Oh, yes.
That is official, yes.
Yes.
So that happened.
Welcome back to the grid, Devlin.
It's exciting.
He only had one highlight in his career in IndyCar. It was his outside pass at Indy Road Course where he went from like 6th to 1st.
Yeah, and he actually won the Daytona 24 with Colton Herter and Pato.
Yes, I forget who the fourth guy was, but he is a LMP2 class
winner
in the Daytona 24.
That's right. Not the Daytona 500, but the Daytona 24.
Oh. Not that I would mix those things up or anything.
Why? No one would.
No.
Other news that I have is let's switch over to some sports cars. Andy Lally is hanging up the overalls and becoming president at Trans Am.
So he's going to run the Daytona 24.
Yes.
With the swan song for Magnus Racing, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that's his last race.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, he's going to do that. Genesis had an event where they unveiled a scale model of their car, their LMDH car that they're going to run in 26 over in WEC, and then in 27 they'll come over to IMSA and run here.
Yeah, that's true.
They are using the Orica chassis as their basis, so the design has some slight similarities to the Alpine and Acura because those both use the Orica chassis as well. Speaking of prototypes, it is now confirmed that K-Mag is with BMW for
That's true.
the prototype or the GTP program.
WEC.
He will be with
right?
he will be with WEC. However, he is also going to be running in this year's Daytona 25 or in 2025. I'm sorry, Daytona 24 in 2025.
I got you.
It's only a month away, Nate.
I got you. No, and then Pratt Miller, aren't they doing an LMP2 program?
They are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they even got Kyle Ilott. Yeah.
Yep.
And Pietro Fittipaldi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting.
Yep. Didn't someone else get announced that they were going to show up to Le Mans or Daytona? I'll see if I can find it. Anyways, Ferrari confirmed as Cadillac's F1 supplier from 2026.
Yes.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, I gotta find it. Apparently, at the Daytona 24, the historics
are going to run.
Yes, they're going to run as a like support race, like an actual support race on that same weekend.
Yes.
It's not going to be at the historic Daytona 24. No, it's
going to be a separate event to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like a sprint race type thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
HSR IMSA Classic to debut at Rolex 24.
Right. Yeah.
And it's gonna highlight cars from 1973 to 1993 is what was written in the article. So that'll be very cool.
Yeah.
Main event will be a 30-minute feature race Saturday morning that'll set stage for the 24 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, really cool, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we get to it?
Yes. Nate.
I think so. Yeah.
Nate,
what the hell did we do?
Well, you drove for 24 hours just to drive for 2 more hours.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there is nothing wrong with it. I love the commitment because it was worth it in the end, right, Nate?
Oh, more so than not. You know, oh my gosh. Yeah, for me it took like 12 and a half hours to get there.
Yeah.
Because I drove from Jersey down to Jacksonville, Florida. Because what were we doing, Christian?
We were taking part in the endurance karting's race to end Alzheimer's. That's the title for the race. But it was a 6-hour karting race at Jacksonville's North Florida Kart Club track, or it's also known as 103rd Street Karting Complex. I believe is the other name it goes by.
And I'll tell you, I was really looking forward to this one because the layout of this track was half oval, half road course. And looking on YouTube video, it looks like bump drafting was going to be a key element.
What was the word you put in there?
Bump drafting.
Bump drafting. You're not supposed to do that, Nate.
No.
Hey,
By
on.
rules, endurance karting says drafting, bump drafting specifically is allowed.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So I didn't break any rules, Sean.
Nope.
Jesus.
It's written in the rules. Therefore it's encouraged.
And I did plenty of it in my driving time between practice, qualifying, and the race itself.
Oh yeah.
So,
and it was easily worth half a second to a second, depending on which way the wind was blowing during the day.
So do we begin with practice, or do we mention qualifying?
Yeah, just go to the race.
Well, let's first off state that it was the team was Red Mist Racing that entered. It was me, Nate, and one of our friends, Liam Mahan.
Which I'm going to mention this. 2024 K1 World Champion. So
I want to know how you become that.
you win this. You win your state K1 Speed Championship, I believe. Then they have nationals, and then whoever win. I forget the pool of drivers on nationals, but then they figure out who's world champion after that. They hold. It's held in I think California.
Yeah, it's at their new
the K1
outdoor track.
Yeah, the K1 circuit.
Yeah, but it's using the K1 electric carts.
Yes, but it's not the electric carts for the outdoor track are not they're not the same carts that get used at the indoor tracks. Like these ones are more powerful.
Up a little more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they have, I believe it's 2 lithium batteries on either side. Is how they're set up. If I remember that correctly.
All right.
But yeah, like Nate said, drafting is a huge deal with this track and how it's set up. I mean, there's really only 2, maybe 3 passing zones. I mean, one is towards the back end of the long straightaway that's there, and then the other one is like this right-hander going into the technical section, in quotes. If you want to just try and position yourself in the front, but I mean, you're pretty susceptible for getting passed down the back street just because of how long it is. And I mean, these carts only went 50 miles an hour, Nate? I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're still rental carts. They're not terribly slow, but I mean, like, they're not, your normal club racing carts. So yeah, I mean, we ended up starting the race in 12th out of
24.
24 teams, yeah. And there was different classes that they had available, so we were in the pro class. And there was 6 teams in the pro class. And out of the 24 teams, there was 2 solo drivers. And just to kind of fast forward to the end, the 2 solo drivers ended up finishing first and second overall, mainly because they worked together and were just pushing each other the entire way to the finish. It was really impressive, and I think if we were to do this event again and wanted to go in kind of with some an upper hand on the strategy end, I think we would do the same, where we would want to enter 2 teams, regardless of whether we would do it with less drivers or more drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely having a second cart to work with the entire race is definitely very beneficial.
Would you say that would work at any track that this event would take place at?
No.
Just at this particular one.
This track in particular.
Yeah, this track for sure.
So I mean, because we were looking at the lap times, and during qualifying, if you weren't in the draft during qualifying, you were easily a half second off the pace of wherever pole was. So you definitely needed to work with someone, or find someone that was relatively close.
Gotcha.
So we had this is Nate's 3rd endurance karting event that he's done, and this was my 2nd. We both did the 6 hours
Club Motorsports.
Yes,
at Club Motorsports.
The 6 hours in New England at Club Motorsports in New Hampshire. What was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Yeah.
Yep.
And that was with us 2. We had 6 of us. Us 2.
Yeah.
Evan, Alex, Hugh, and Charlie,
Yeah.
which was great to have everyone there. We ended up finishing third in that one, and then Nate, you said you finished third or fifth in the race in Virginia.
Fifth at VIR, yeah.
Yes.
VIR, yep.
Okay, so then in this race, we start 12th, and I wasn't really too sure what to do on strategy because I was kind of dumbfounded the last time I did this race, and I didn't really know where we lost time. So in this one, I was kind of going more off the cuff and just trying to see what would work better and what might not. So we we started Nate. I told him probably at the 20-minute mark we'd pull him in for a pit stop because we had to make a mandatory 15 pit stops, so 16 stints, and over 6 hours it comes roughly out to about 22 to 23 minutes is you're going to pit if you're going to do it evenly. And then there's a halfway caution where you just slow the leader up for a lap, everyone packs up, and then you throw the grain again. So it got to like 40 minutes into the race, and we still hadn't called Nate in, but because he was just in a pack at the front, and he worked his way up from 12th to 3rd, and
4th overall, but it was eventually first in class because I was bug drafting one of the guys from Masters class.
Yeah,
and we were just moving.
Yeah, so it was really hard to like pull him out because of line because we didn't want to lose that draft partner at that point.
Yeah.
So eventually we do pull him in. I think we did 3 stops with you before you finally got out, and we put Liam in, and
right.
So then Liam ended up going out, and he was kind of on his own for a bit, and I think that was kind of the story of his 2 stints that he did. So we ended up working the rest of the race out where everyone drove an hour at a time.
Right.
And
then you get in.
I get in.
And Sean, this guy, he's really good. He drives the wheels off of it when he gets it.
Yeah, well, I got in the cart, and
how many hours was it?
6.
6 hours, yeah.
How much time did you guys actually get to drive each?
2 hours each.
2 average, yeah.
2? Okay.
So I get in the cart, and then by rule, to basically make a refueling pit stop, you just swap your cart with another cart. So I came in for one of my stops during my stint to switch the cart around to then be able to give some feedback to those guys of like the difference of what we were driving before. And the new cart, like Nate said, you just drove the wheels off of it. I came around one of the turns, got pinched onto one of the bigger curbs that you're not supposed to touch, and quite literally, my front left just goes flying off.
The whole wheel shot. Wheel and tire.
That's happened before to Christian.
Yeah, when that happened
in a rental cart.
Dad, when that happened, I shit you not, that was right where my brain went. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
So then what happened? You drove it back.
So I ended up getting it back to the pits, put my hand up, kept it at a slow pace, whatever. We get a new cart. Nate and Liam end up going to talk with the officials just to discuss it because it wasn't anything really of my fault.
Right, it was out of our control.
They were kind enough to give us the time back that we had lost from that incident. So that was great. I end up going back out and at some point I basically just hooked up to the guys or this other team that had pretty similar to pace to us, and then I ended up coming in, switching the cart out. Nate got in right before the halfway mark because the pits closed just before then, so we wanted to make sure we get one more in before that. And then he basically does exactly what he did at the start, but this time halfway through, drove with a pretty good
mind
draft.
you, same drafting partner from the first hour.
Oh yes,
oddly enough.
see, there you go.
Yeah. So, we just found each other, and the restart was truly insane. I mean, I made a 4-wide pass.
Yes, you did. I remember that.
And
that was crazy.
Oh my gosh, that really was. I didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, I made you proud, man. I did. You would have loved it. But it's kind of circling back to when you lost the wheel. I'm like, I'm kind of watching the race like a hawk, and Liam's kind of like watching it with me. And then we see like the 3 carts you were with go by, and not you. And then someone's waving the yellow, and we don't see you. I'm like, oh, Christian went off.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of like waiting. Okay, where is he? And then we see you kind of bringing this 3-legged dog back to the pit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh boy. So I just, I was like, okay, what the heck happened? I mean, because you don't expect these things to happen.
Yeah.
So it was definitely kind of like
crazy.
A WTF moment, like what happened. So
yeah.
So you guys fight your way back to win the race.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 3 hours, we were we had made more pit stops than most of the other teams. And as the last 3 hours kind of unfolded, I mean, Nate's second stint was really good. He kept the cart up towards the front of the pack in his drafting, like he said with the guy he found. I ended up getting back in right after him, and then we had Liam finish. And when I got in, I found the 2 solo drivers that were working together, and I just hooked onto them for a pretty good portion of my stint until I had to make one of my other pit stops, and so I followed them around, came in. Nate and Liam tried to pit me soon in after to then rejoin with them, but I'll be honest, it wouldn't have made a difference because I ended up running the same pace, if not a little bit quicker than the 2 of them together. So I mean, I was just really feeling it all good there. And then Liam got in for his last stint and was solid right until the finish. We
brought it home.
We did run into one slight issue where the time that we got given back earlier in the race for the kart issue, they ended up counting that pit stop as one of our required pit stops for the race. So we basically got a free pit stop out of that. So we were looking at the timing, and we're like, man, we're like really far ahead, and we were so far ahead that we were beating the 2 solo drivers, and we're like, that's not right. So we ended up having to make our actual 15th pit stop within like the last 10 minutes, and one of the other teams was like really questioning what the heck was going on, because they were looking at the same board that we were that we had finished.
Count.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And most likely was, and they were like, why did you do a 16th stop when 15 are required? And so we're just like, all right, and then
I wouldn't have said anything. I just said, oh, we lost count.
Sean, I had that same thinking.
Why would you admit to it?
No, we didn't. The guy who organized the event, Chris, he came up to us and
that's fair for him. Yeah, that's fair for him to say.
So we we recognized it too, and we're looking at it, and we were like, yeah, that's making one stop
fair.
was fine with us, and we also recognized too that we were still a lap ahead of the next karting class, so
Right.
we were fine doing that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, you got a break, and then you evened it out. So
Yeah.
Anyway, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. And so we won in our class and came in third overall.
There you go.
Behind the two guys that worked together.
What was your class?
We were in pro class.
Pro.
How did the pros finish? Not
because the two solo drivers worked together the entire race.
Oh, that's
why I was saying earlier on that we would come with two teams ready to go.
Yeah.
So if we knew that, then yeah. So, but out of all the
did they have to get out, run around the kart, get dizzy, and then fall down and get back?
No.
The
only time they got out of the kart, I think, was to do their kart swaps that they needed to. But yeah.
All right.
So
they didn't go to the bathroom?
No.
Not that we know of. They could. They could.
Peed in the pants, but that's about it. All right. Oh, once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. We get to keep our jobs next year.
Yes.
Yeah, you do. Well, anyways. All right. And on that note,
good night.
Thank you guys for listening to the Red Mist Podcast, hosted by Christian Abbott, Sean Abbott, and Nathan Lavin. It's produced by Christian Abbott, and music is by Alex Wart and Harrison Tate.